Hey guys, here's Katana and I'm back with a new video. This time around we're going to be talking about kind of the toxicity that is body image, especially in sports, and when we talk about female athletes. I find that, at least in my personal experience and what I can see online, there's always like this standard that you have to reach for some reason, and it's pretty much unattainable for a long period of time. So let's get into this. So what I truly wanted to talk about is how toxic the fitness inspiration industry or our community is, because it kind of gives you that feeling that whenever you aren't like that, you're not fit in general and you're not healthy enough and you're not good enough, and overall you should do better, you should be healthier, and you should do this and you should do that. So what that has led me to personally, I can't speak for everyone of course, but I feel like a lot of people probably feel this way, is that it makes you feel bad about your own body, even though if it weren't for that community you wouldn't feel as bad. So as an example, I gained like 5-6 pounds in March, like February, March, and when I weighed in at my coach's place, I felt horrible. First of all, it was the highest weight I'd ever seen on the scale, and I hadn't felt good about how my body had changed in general. But when I saw that number, it made me feel absolutely like crap. Even though I'm still very active as an athlete, even though at the time it's kind of hard because I can't really train, and also last week I got my wisdom teeth removed and I got sick, which was definitely fun. I don't know how I'm supposed to put this, but it's this toxic fitness inspiration that you can't achieve long term. It is not reasonable for someone to be that active and that healthy, like eating wise, and doing all this and meditating and doing that and doing this all the time. It's just not reasonable. I don't think there are very many people out there who can do that, especially if it's for yourself. I think it's another thing for a lot of influencers who do this as a living, to show how you could eat healthy meals, what kind of workouts could be something many people can do. So because that's your job, that's what you spend your time doing. But if that's not your job and you're just watching that, you can't replicate it because you don't have all the time of day to just focus on that. That was part one. Part two is body dysmorphia. I've already kind of talked about this earlier on, saying how horrible I had felt when I stepped off that scale a couple weeks ago. I stepped off that scale and I felt fat, knowing that I'm now at an average weight. So in my head, I felt like not being closer to skinny, like being closer to, so I'm already doing it, I'm saying closer to skinny, even though I meant to say closer to being underweight, which is not the same thing. This is so hard because I feel like there are like two parts of like thought processes in my head. The one part is the sort of body dysmorphia part, and the other one is the reasonable part, the realistic part. And that is that kind of struggle that goes on in my mind, because I know I'm not fat, I know I'm not overweight, and I know I'm not obese either. But in my head I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't have this like bulging six-pack all the time whenever I'm like slouching eating or I just ate, and that means that I actually am not skinny at all. I have these one pairs of like size 0 Tommy Hilfiger white trousers from my mom, and whenever I'm like super skinny, I fit in them, and I took them with me to my Florida vacation in March, like February going into March this year, and I couldn't fit them, and I was about to cry. I was literally about to cry about not fitting into a size 0 pant, even though I know my mom has and back then had a very different body from me. I have glutes, I have a butt. My mom pretty much doesn't, so of course whenever she's skinny she would fit in these gorgeous pants. But for me, I have to be close to being underweight for me to lose that much like fat and muscle to fit in these pants. And I know that like on a realistic scale, but I don't know that. It's like so hard to describe and make it make sense because it doesn't make sense. In track and field, it's pretty common for women to wear these like briefs that are super short, and whenever you feel good in your body, it's like, oh my gosh, look at me today. I feel phenomenal, and my body, like my curves are sitting in the right places. But whenever you don't feel like that, it will ruin your competition day, because personally, I think about that. I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't think I'm skinny enough today. Ooh, my stomach, I should really like not breathe so no one can see that I have a stomach, or that I don't have this absolute six-pack today. And I concentrate on that instead of concentrating on hurdling. And I remember the day I actually ran my 100 and 200 PR, I had a coach whom I just trained with on some occasions come to me. She's like this elderly lady. She's like 80. And this was like 2-3 years ago. She came to me, she was like, oh, Katiana, did you lose weight? And I was like, yeah. Because at that point, I was on the brim of being clinically underweight. I was like super happy with my body, and also I was able to perform because I ran PRs. And she looked at me, she was like, huh, that's great, because you look skinny now. And I was like, on the one hand, I was grateful and thankful for that amazing comment that I look skinny. But then again, I thought, I'm practically underweight. If I lose like a half a pound or like 1 pound, I'm going to be clinically underweight. Like I would be categorized with my BMI as being underweight. And you're telling me now that I look skinny. She didn't even say I was skinny. She said, oh, you look skinny now. And I was lost for words. And I remember that till this day, because it was so weird that I was happy that she said that and recognized that I didn't only lose weight, but I also looked skinny. But it also stung at the same time, because how is it that I wasn't skinny before? And that's what I'm going to leave you guys with today. I hope I kind of gave you a little push to think about toxic fitness inspiration and body dysmorphia as well, and that my few stories are a little help to you, not just as insight, but that we all struggle in some sort of way. We all have our struggles. If it's not our weight, it's the shape of our face or our hair or something. There's always something. So please be kind to yourself and give yourself grace. And yeah, I hope you have a great day, and we'll see each other in the next video. Until then, bye!